Hey, it's Nathan Freeberg from the Oregon Brew Running Series. Here is an interview with Rob Lutz that I did back in 2017. Rob is the head brewer and co-founder of StormBreaker Brewing up on North Mississippi Avenue in North Portland. And we just added StormBreaker as one of our 2021 event partners on August 21st, 2021, 8/21/21. I just realized that. And I just thought it would be fun to reshare this video from something we did a little over 4 years ago, actually. And it just talks about the history of StormBreaker, and it's cool. You can go search some of our other interviews we've done with Dan from StormBreaker. It's cool to hear how they have grown and changed. They've added another location, and just a lot of things have changed since then. Forget about the whole pandemic and everything that's just gone on in the last year and a half. But we're so excited to add StormBreaker to our 2021 schedule. So check the link somewhere in the description. Join us on August 21st of 2021. But in the meantime, enjoy this interview I did with Rob. This is originally a Facebook Live video. He just talks about the history of StormBreaker, how he got into beer, some of his favorite beers, and we sample some beers. This was actually the second time we recorded this. The first time it didn't work. And so I think this was like my second tasting that I had done in a very short period of time. So I hope you can't tell in the video. But anyway, enjoy my interview with Rob Lutz, and then join us for an awesome 5K fun run or walk on August 21st, 2021. See you then. Hey, welcome. Rob Lutz, StormBreaker Brewing. So I already said this, but Rob and I just had an amazing conversation. And technology. What are you going to do with technology? But look, okay, here's proof that it's working now.
I can see it.
And this is what I kept trying to find. And then when I got up to walk around there, it said live on there. I swear to God.
Well, now you know for the next time.
Yeah, I
make
do.
sure it's on the screen.
I do.
I'm glad I could help you out with that.
I appreciate that. So, but see, now we're really good and warmed up.
Yeah, got a couple beers in us.
Yeah, we got 3 beers in us. So I'm here on North Mississippi Avenue at StormBreaker Brewing with owner and head brewer Rob Lutz, who has owned, thank you very much, co-owner in StormBreaker since 2014. All right.
Yep,
2014. And we are going to be running here for the Oregon Brewery Running Series on August 21st, 2021. And it's too bad that we're not running here in January when the weather was terrible, because that would kind of make sense with your name, right?
Yeah, definitely. We were pretty busy during that time.
Yeah.
We can't close down with a name like StormBreaker.
Exactly. What is the history, the background of the name StormBreaker?
So StormBreaker actually comes from a book that the other owner Dan found called Night Dogs, and it actually talks about how the natives called Mount Hood StormBreaker for the way it ripped through storm fronts and kind of broke the storms apart.
Totally.
Like, that's kind of cool. We were kind of trying to come up with a name that played off the weather and also kind of kept it local to Portland.
Okay.
Hang on one second.
Yeah, totally.
Can we get that other taster?
There's actually if you go in the bathroom here, there's a whole thing in the bathroom that explains what StormBreaker is about.
That's the passage from the book.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
So yeah, last week I was driving around, picking all the employees up.
Yeah.
I got 4-wheel drive in the Jeep, so I'm going to make sure everyone's safe.
Which is so helpful. So helpful. Well, Rob, thank you. I'm going to try to do this a little bit quickly because I don't want to take up your whole day here. I'm curious. So StormBreaker, well, let's get back to you. So you've been in the beer industry for quite a while. I think it's like going on 12 years, right? Thank you very much. 12 years. Was that always the plan to own your own brewery, to be the head brewer here? Like, did you always want to do this?
I have always wanted to be in the beer industry. It's actually kind of started from a bottle collection. I started in college when I was 18. I made it through all the macro beers and, was like, okay, I need to get something else. So I found a local craft beer bottle shop, and that's how I was first introduced to good beer.
Nice.
Got a job working for a beer wholesaler, retailer in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Okay. So you're from out east.
Yeah. So I ran the wholesale division of it actually at 23 years old. And from there, I definitely decided I knew I wanted to do something in the industry, and definitely wanted to open up a brewery. But at the very least, like a beer bar or something like that.
Sure.
Decided to move to Portland, the best beer spot in
your capital of the universe, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Just the United States. Yeah. Well, what are we drinking here before we get too far into this conversation for the second time?
So
what is
for the second time?
For the second time,
this is our winter.
This is one of the most gracious guys I've met recently. So thank you for that. Winter coat. Yep.
So it's this is our winter seasonal.
Okay.
It's kind of like a winter warmer brown ale. Super chocolatey, caramely. But we actually we brew the same beer every year, but we tweak an ingredient every year. So this year we actually did it with plum. So it's definitely not a fruit beer. You wouldn't drink this and be like, oh, this is a fruit beer, but really nice and complements the beer.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Just chug this thing. I'll say this again. This is really good. I think this might be my favorite of these three. I mean, I don't know. No. Well, this is really good. I love this. I think it'd go pair with like a good burger. Maybe a brownie.
Burger. I'm a dessert guy, so I think a brownie with some ice cream.
Yeah.
A little chocolate syrup.
Do you guys do dessert here?
We usually do one dessert special. It changes daily.
What is it today?
It is a toffee studded chocolate brownie.
There you go.
Well, that warm chocolate sauce.
That's pretty. That's
perfectly paired with.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. One of the things I love about StormBreaker, it has this sort of woodsy, outdoors, rustic kind of feel. To it. Was that your vision, your dream? Like when you started this, when you converted it over to kind of have that, or is it?
Well, so the original location kind of was more of like a beer hall. It had all picnic tables,
benches, and just get in and get.
It was. I mean, they were straight picnic tables.
Sure,
that was it. So we wanted to do something that was a little bit more inviting. Really comfortable, kind of warming feeling. So we kind of went with like a almost like a ski lodge kind of feel.
Yeah.
We have, the bar area over here, which is a little bit more open. And then we have
big, huge windows. Those are garage doors, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. The garage doors open up. So you got some nice open air seating.
Yeah.
We got a big patio out there as well, which is pretty cool.
And a fireplace.
Fire pit out there.
Yeah.
We got a heated tent.
You can watch the Blazers.
So the Blazers in there. Yeah.
You show them every game?
Every game. Yeah.
Okay. Do you do any kind of specials or deals on Blazers nights or?
No, just normal. Kind of depends on the time of the game.
Sure. Well, that's fun. Well, it's a cool location. I think one of the things I love about breweries in Portland is they all kind of take on their own personality of the brewery. Do you find that your personality is reflected in your brewery in some way? Are you a big ski buff or ski bum?
I am not. I do love skiing.
Okay.
Dan, who's one of the other owners or the other owner.
There's two.
He's just the two of us. Yeah. He spends a little more time at the mountain than me. I would say my favorite part of going to the mountain is probably hanging out in the ski lodge, drinking beers.
Hey, why not? That's a great thing. Well, one of our values at the Oregon Brew Running Series is to have fun, to be active, have fun, and give back. What do you like to do to have fun? What are some of the things besides just going to the other breweries, or maybe that is your recreation right now?
Yeah, I mean, more or less. I'm here 6-7 days a week, mostly 7 days a week.
Right.
There's a couple other breweries in town that I actually live pretty close to Breakside, so I spend a good amount of time there.
All right. Pretty good friends with those guys over there?
Yeah, definitely. It's actually pretty nice to walk in there, and
totally.
Most everybody knows who I am.
Knows who you are.
Take good care of me for sure.
Do they know what to pour you? Is it like Norm and Cheers?
No, they probably never know what to pour me. I'm going to get something different every time I go in there.
Okay. What do you do all day?
Here?
Because I walked in, you're over there, table, stack of papers on the phone, doing stuff.
Yeah.
Clearly not only brewing all day. Like what's involved in the life of a owner / head brewer?
Yeah. Sadly, I spend a lot of time staring at a computer. But on a typical brew day, I'm here around 4:30 in the morning. Matching, and then when we're double batching, my assistant brewer Tyler will come in around 10 o'clock. He'll mash in behind me. I'll finish up. I'm usually done around 11:30, and then I'll go back to my office, also known as booth 3.
Those the booth right over there.
Yeah. And and another 7 or 8 hours staring at the computer. So
that's gross.
Yeah, at least I'm not doing beer deliveries anymore. I was doing that in between for the first year and a half.
Well, take me back a little bit. We didn't talk about starting this interview, did we?
No.
How'd you get started in brewing? I know that you've done a lot of different things. What was the kind of genesis of your brewing experience?
Yeah, like I said, I started in New York, worked for a beer distributor, selling beer. Moved out here with the aspirations of getting involved in the brewing industry or the beer business one way or another. Sold beer for a beer distributor out here, worked at a couple beer bars, eventually kind of lucked into getting a job washing kegs for Amnesia Brewing.
Which is a glamorous position.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
The owner at the time told me, he's like, Rob, this job sucks. He's like, if you hate it, I've had people walk out in the middle of their first day. So I get it. And I'm like, all right, well, are you gonna make me a brewer? And he said, no. And I said, all right, well, I'll wash kegs till you do.
That's tenaciousness. That's good.
So for 3 years, I washed kegs and bartended at Produce Row Cafe, one of the original beer bars in town, and then was also bartending at Cascade Barrel House, the sour beer bar in town. So doing all three of those for almost 4 years, actually.
Wow.
But after 3 years, they promoted me to a brewer and brewed for them for about a year and a half before we started talking about buying the equipment and taking over the space.
Sure. And the rest is history.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the lesson there is to work hard, stick with it. And you too could own a brewery someday.
Yeah, it's not going to fall on your lap. So
got to work hard. Well, what's the second one here? It looks a little bit like the triple double.
Is that what it is? Triple double. It's like you're psychic.
I was just like, that looks like the triple double.
So this is our double IPA, our Blazer inspired beer.
Yeah.
Here, cheers.
Cheers to the triple double. All right.
So for those of you who are not familiar with a triple double in basketball, 10 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists.
Very difficult to achieve. Yeah.
We did a triple double with hops in our beer. So 10 additions of Amarillo, Citra, and Mosaic hops. So there's 9 additions in the kettle, and then we dry hopped it.
Okay.
So it's got almost a little over 4 pounds per barrel of hops.
There's a lot of hops.
A lot of hops. Yeah.
A lot of hops. How do you pick your hops? How do you know different varieties of hops that you're like, oh, I want to try that one? Or is there some big hop catalog?
More or less.
Here's the Sears Christmas catalog that you get to pick hops from, or
certain suppliers will have information about the different characteristics of the hops, aromatic characteristics, the oil content of the hops. Not to get too technical.
Yeah, I was going to say that you all, as a brewer, you all know what all those things mean and can kind of anticipate what that's going to taste like a little bit. Or
we try, some better than others, I'm sure. Some better than me, for sure.
Sure. How many varieties of hops are there? Is that like how many grains of sand are on the page? There's a million.
There's tons and tons, and there's new ones every year. Tons of new ones every year. They're always crossbreeding different varieties to come up with a new next big thing.
Wow. What's the current next big thing?
Oh man, Mosaics are really popular right now. Eldorados I really like. Citra, Amarillo, Galaxy are all really popular hops.
Gotcha. I'm just noticing all the people coming in here. Would you describe this as a neighborhood pub, tap room, brewery, whatever you call it? Or is it sort of like a big, tourist bus gets dropped off right there and people file in and file out? How do they fall?
A little bit of both. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably maybe 70-30 local to, destination. During the summer, we definitely have a lot of tourism.
Sure. Mississippi is such a tourist spot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. And I think a lot of people actually come to Mississippi as a destination, find us, and, hopefully they're coming back.
Right.
We hope to be more of the destination going forward, but there's definitely a lot of walking traffic around here, a lot of locals that come down here.
Totally. Well, I know it's fun. There's 100 different breweries in Portland or something like that.
I lost track a long time ago. Yeah, something like that.
It's fun to discover new ones, taste new ones. How do you describe? And I've asked a number of brewers this, and it's hard to classify. Like, our brewery fits into this category. Does that how do you classify StormBreaker in terms of a type of beer, style of beer? It sounds like it's very driven by your own instincts and interests. Is that
Yeah, for sure.
Category?
I wouldn't necessarily categorize us as anything one way or another. When we opened this place, first and foremost, the beer was the most important thing to us. And,
Right.
I, being pretty new to the brewing game, I've been in the beer industry for a long time, and I know what good beer tastes like. I know what I want to drink. That's kind of my brewing style is, I want to make something that I think that everyone is really going to enjoy, that everyone's really going to love. I know that not everyone's going to love every style that I make because everyone's got their own thing, but I want to make
Their own opinions.
If you're a stout fan, I want that to be the best stout that you've ever had. If you're an IPA fan, I want it to be, hopefully one of the best IPAs you've ever had. But, our pub, is really about the overall experience for sure. We really wanted to create something where everyone was really comfortable here, really welcome here. We do beer and whiskey pairings.
Yeah.
We have a full cocktail menu, a full food menu.
Sure. I was going to ask you about that. The whiskey pairings. How does that? See, I'm not a whiskey guy, but I see, all the different ones up there. How'd you come up with that idea? Is that unique to? I don't know that I've seen that in other places in Portland. Is that unique to you guys, or is that some kind of idea? Or what's? Tell me about that.
I wouldn't say it's unique to us. I don't know a lot of people out there. I wish I could say it was my idea. I actually bartended at Produce Row Cafe, and the owner was a huge whiskey guy. I actually at the time was not a whiskey fan, but I was the beer buyer and the beer guy. And he was like,
"Are you
a
whiskey fan now?"
I love whiskey.
Okay.
I'm sad that I was missing out for all those years.
Whiskey, where have you been all my life?
But yeah, we sat down and came up with new whiskey pairings one day, and I fell in love, and I was like, man, I'm taking that with me.
Yeah. So what would you pair with this triple double?
Oh man, what pair?
What whiskey?
Double?
Is it listed up there?
I don't think so. I think we pair this with Eagle Rare. I know at least at one point, but we try to switch up some of the beers that we have on all the time. But this pairs great with Eagle Rare, which is a bourbon.
Okay.
It's a 7-year bourbon.
Okay. Very cool. Do you have a favorite beer? Well, two-part question. Do you have a favorite beer you like to drink, or what's your favorite beer to drink? And do you have a favorite beer that you like to brew?
I would say I don't have a favorite beer that I like to drink. I like to drink a little bit of everything. I love oatmeal stouts. And then I love sour beers.
Two opposite.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely can tell you I don't love to brew oatmeal stouts.
Really? Why is that?
And what a major pain in the butt.
There's so many containers of Quaker oats that you got to dump.
Yeah, right. Well, it can gum up the works, and a typical.
It's messy.
Transfer to the kettle can be anywhere from an hour and a half to 4 hours, depending on
really
luck. Sometimes it seems.
All right, so it's more challenging to brew some of those.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a place? I know you mentioned Breakside. Do you have a favorite watering hole around Portland that you go when you're not back here?
Breakside is definitely my home bar. It's a good 4-minute walk from there, so stumbling distance for sure.
You don't need an Uber for that.
No.
Right.
That's probably my spot.
Okay. Well, that's a good spot. So if you got to pick one,
yeah, no complaints.
So what's this last one here?
So this last beer, it's actually just a single IPA, but it's a little bit of a special edition beer for us. It's called Handful of Hops.
Looks like this is maybe your 400th.
400th batch. You got it again. You were on point.
I'm good at beer.
So yeah, this was our 400th batch. Handful of Hops is our experimental IPA series. So the beer is completely different every time, which is a lot of fun. We get to just play around with different hops, different malts. But for this particular batch, we use all the heavy hitters: Amarillo, Citra, El Dorado, Galaxy, Mosaic, Simcoe hops.
That's all in this?
All in this, yeah.
Do you measure out like how much of each one, or is it just?
No, okay. Yes and no.
Okay.
This being handfuls of hops, we actually invite the public customers, if they're so lucky to be here on the day of a brew, to come back and throw some handfuls in.
That's cool.
So we'll let them stick their hand in there.
How can people find out when that's happening? Is it just luck?
Luck of the draw. You can.
You come out and say, "Hey, everybody, who wants to throw some hops?"
Pretty much. We'll go table to table and ask people if they want. And we'll
do cocktails too, right? That's what it sounds like back there. Right.
Yeah, he's making some cocktails back there right now. Yeah, we'll line them up and get everyone to come in and actually throw their own handful of hops into the beer.
This isn't as I just tried this. This isn't as hoppy as I would have expected from that number of
so there's
hops in
there's about 6 pounds per barrel in this, 50 pounds of hops total in it. But yeah, a lot of it is back ended, so a lot of it's at the end of the boil. So you don't get a lot of those bittering hops. You get a lot more aromatics and a lot more flavor.
Okay,
and then half of it is in the dry hop, which is pretty much all aromatics and flavor out of that. Not a lot of bitter.
Interesting. That's really good. I like. I think I told this before, but I'm not a huge fan of hoppy beers, but this is one that I could drink.
Yeah, the bitterness doesn't kind of blow your palate away.
You mentioned this earlier, but I'm not sure I understood it then, so I'm gonna ask you again. The bitterness and hoppiness is not necessarily the same thing.
No,
explain that a little bit.
They're often tied together. When people say how hoppy is it,
right?
They expect that it's going to be super bitter.
Sure,
but hoppiness can refer to again the aromatics, the flavor, and not necessarily how bitter a beer is. But it is often tied to how bitter a beer is.
Okay. Can you think of an example of a hoppy beer that's not bitter? Is that a thing?
Yes. Triple double IPA.
Okay, there you go. Triple double IPA.
Somebody else's. A lot of
them. That's a great thing.
Yeah, a lot of the Breakside beer. They do a lot of like big dry hopping, and I think a lot of backloading. So their beers are super approachable, super drinkable. A lot of balance between the bitterness and the aromatics and the flavors.
And Triple Double, that's in New Seasons.
Yeah, we
and a couple other places you can find this around town, right?
Yeah, we're now in 9 New Seasons. Awesome. I think we're in all the Market of Choices, Green Zebra Grocery, most of the bottle shops around town.
Okay. I'd imagine that as a business owner, that's exciting to be distributed more. As a brewer, probably means a lot more work for you, right? Which isn't a bad thing, but it's
if I'm brewing beer, I'm happy. And the more we're making, the more we're selling, the more I'm brewing.
All right.
The less I'm staring at that computer.
Well, that's a good thing. So you mentioned, we're about having fun, being active, having fun, and giving back. I know earlier we talked about you're not a runner,
no,
but you're a softball player, baseball. What else do you do to kind of get active and?
No. Aside from cheering on our running team?
Yeah, aside from the running team, which is here every Wednesday at 6, right?
Yeah, we have a running group that meets up, and then we
the NoPo
Run Club. Yeah, and then we have our 4 guys that are on the run team. But yeah, I love to try out new breweries around town. Unfortunately, my wife is a big beer drinker, so when we go to new places, they're often beer related or cocktail related.
Okay.
I love a good cocktail.
Yeah,
good whiskey.
I've just started getting into cocktails more.
We're just
fancy.
Just at Base Camp's Collabo Fest and the Coffee Beer Invitational this weekend. So
yeah,
Beer Fest, do a lot of that stuff.
So I was going to ask you. So we were at Collabo Fest too, and you guys had an amazing beer. Is that available? Is that only for Collabo Fest? Can we get that? Well, first talk about your beer, because there's a really awesome pairing of 2 of my favorite things.
beer and donuts.
Beer and donuts. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
So we did a beer called Passion of the Homer, which has nothing to do with the Odyssey.
Yeah, Simpsons,
yeah. Beer and donuts, folks. I got a lot of people, what's Homer have to do with it? I'm like, what do you mean, what is Homer? And Passion, because it's a CDA that was aged on passion fruit. And we actually kind of did.
What does CDA stand for?
Cascadian Dark Ale, so black IPA, basically.
Yep.
So we kind of did a quad collaboration with Blue Star Donuts and ourselves, and then Alameda Brewing, who teamed up with Pips Donuts. We both have a donut shop by us. So we
such a blessing.
We no complaints there.
No.
We both picked a donut from our donut shops nearby that kind of inspired the beer. Blue Star does a passion fruit coconut donut, so we in turn brewed a passion fruit CDA with some chocolate wheat, chocolate malt to kind of give you those nice cocoa flavors, and then aged it on the passion fruit and dry hopped it with Simcoe, Citra, and Galaxy hops, which all have those tropical fruit, passion fruit kind of aromatics to them.
So good. So new niche market for you guys is the breakfast beer. It'd be a great
start a new trend. I don't know.
Yeah,
normally would tie those two together.
They do in Europe, don't they? Drink beer for breakfast? And
yeah, sure.
at some of those places, why not? And have a donut and a beer. I can't think of a healthier way to start the day, right?
Works for me.
Yeah. Speaking of healthy, you guys have an amazing kale salad here.
We do.
Pretty good food menu too. Talk a little bit about that. What kind of food could people expect when they come here?
Yeah, so
enjoy your beer.
We actually don't have a full kitchen. We do have a barbecue grill that you find in a typical restaurant.
Sure.
Outside. And then we have a couple panini presses, a salad station, some induction burners. So we do a lot with what we have. Both of the guys that run our kitchen are really highly trained culinary guys. Alex went to the Culinary Institute of America in New York. We actually met back there and kind of came out to Portland at the same time.
That's cool.
And Patrick has been cooking at some really high-end restaurants his entire career. And they really do a lot with a little back there. They put out an amazing product. Like you said, the kale and bacon salad. I never thought I would ever eat and enjoy kale, but kale, throw a little bacon and some aged Gouda on there. It's pretty damn good.
I have almost 4-year-old son at home that I try to convince him kale is good. Kale is good. And I think of my 10-year-old self would never have.
No,
I don't think I even knew what kale was.
I wouldn't have looked at it. It was green.
Exactly. If it's green, it means gross.
Yeah.
So
we also one of my other favorite items on the menu was the Juicy Lucy burger. So it's 2 patties stuffed with cheese with a bacon onion jam on top. It's out of this world.
Yeah, just be careful so that when you bite into it, it doesn't squirt out and burn you. Or just
for sure. I've seen it up people's sleeves before.
It's a little bit intense, but it is delicious. Well, Rob, I want to thank you for doing this interview a second time. Did we miss anything from the first one? I feel like we kind of covered it all.
One thing I did want to touch on, on the beer and whiskey areas, we actually do a festival called Brewstillery Fest.
Yeah, it's on the 25th, right?
Yeah,
February
25th. We got our anniversary coming up this weekend, so we're actually going to be 3 years old.
Congratulations.
February 1st.
Exciting.
And we're having an anniversary party on Saturday the 4th, so we'll have some festivities and some new beers.
Cool.
And then on
what new beers are you going to have? Anything?
We're releasing our triple IPA.
Okay.
So the only beer that has more hops than this guy coming out on Saturday.
A handful of hops. Okay.
We'll be releasing the Barrels Full of Chocolate, which is an imperial brown ale aged on cocoa nibs that we then aged in bourbon barrels for a year.
Is that the one you had at Migration last week?
It is the one we had at Migration. So it was supposed to be first release here, but Migration had a special occasion.
So I'm not saying this just because I feel bad and I'm trying to suck up to you, but that was maybe the best beer I've ever had. It was so just delicious. The chocolatiness. It was I don't even know how to describe it. It was so, how do you describe that? Because it was it was almost not even a beer. It was just drinking this amazing melted brownies. I don't know. That's not a good description. But how do you describe that beer? Because that was so good.
So the original beer was great. It was imperial brown ale aged on cocoa nibs. But we thought this would be great aged in bourbon barrels, 9%. So it's a beast of a beer.
It is.
Man, the bourbon. It with the caramel and chocolatey flavors just kind of meld together into this super chocolatey, delicious beverage.
It was good. And Dan was telling me that you've increased your barrels, your barrel capacity by 300%.
Yeah. Yes. So we now have 4 barrels. We had one to start with.
Right.
So.
Like I said before,
400%. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty impressive. And are those just stacked on top of each other? You can walk behind it. Yeah, just don't knock it over. Are those just stacked on top of each other in the back somewhere?
Yeah, we don't have a forklift here, so when we fill 2 on the bottom, those guys got to be there for a while, and then we have to empty the ones that are on top. So, that's how that goes here.
That could be part of your getting active, is just lift up.
Oh, I'd have to be really active. But, that's a little bit too much.
How much
for
does
me
a barrel weigh? If you had to
guess, 53 gallons in there. So I don't know.
That's 400 pounds.
Yeah,
500 pounds.
500 pounds, something like that.
You talked about the handful of hops you invite customers in to throw in some hops. Maybe this could be, rotate a barrel
Yeah, come on in, throw some hops in, and everyone lift this.
And everyone lift this barrel. If you got 10
seems safe.
That would be, I can't see anything going wrong with that. Rob, thanks again. Appreciate it. Anytime. Appreciate it. And should we do this again here in a few minutes?
I hope
not. I'm going to walk around, turn this off, but thank you so much. And we'll see you soon.
All right. Sounds good.